Well. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, it's, what is it? Saturday, March the 21st, 2020. Are you stuck inside? Are you stuck inside, folks? Because of the whole COVID-19 situation, you probably are. You're probably stuck inside like many of us. So I thought I would jump online and talk to you guys, have a bit of a, AMA, bit of a Q&A, an AMA, a IMA, CBA, Chichie, Chumali, Lele, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But I thought I would jump on and see how you guys are doing here on this Saturday afternoon, because it's pretty crazy out there, folks. And so hopefully you guys are remaining safe and secure with your family. You are social distancing, from people. There's something called social distancing, and then there's the anti-social distancing. And my girlfriend and I were talking about that the other day. Social distancing is like, let's take somebody from the chat room here. Let's take Jack Ellis. Jack Ellis is there. And let's say Jack lives down the street from me, right? And Jack, he comes out into the street. Let's say Jack's got a dog. I don't know if he's got a dog, but let's say he does. And he's got a dog, and he walks out onto the street, and he's walking his dog, and I happen to go outside, and I see Jack, and he's, we're all supposed to keep, 6 to 8 feet away from each other. And there's Jack, and he's 60 feet away from me, and he's like, "Hey, Dave, what's going on?" I'm like, "Hey, Jack, how you doing?" That's social distancing. And then there's anti-social distancing, which is, let's take the same scenario. And Jack, he comes outside, to walk his dog, and I'm outside, and I see Jack, and he's 60 feet away from me, and I'm like, "Hey, Jack, how you doing?" And he looks at me like this. He's like, "Fucking idiot." And he just walks away. And it's like, the fuck? What the? Well, fuck you too then, Jack! That's antisocial distancing. Maybe we all need to be doing more of antisocial. I don't know. I'm just saying. Hey, listen, it's crazy. Just make sure you guys are safe and secure, and you guys are hanging in and being okay wherever you are in the world. That is the most important thing. What do we got? 84 people watching. That's not bad, considering it is a impromptu live AMA. Sorry, just making sure everything is up. I've got so many windows up here. Whenever you do a stream like this, for those of you that do streams and you're trying to run a show and you got multiple cameras and audio and mixers, it's a lot of things happening all at once. I just was making sure everything was okay. We appear to be okay, which is good. That is always good. What is going on, chat room? Are you guys doing okay? Hey, we watched a movie is in the chat room. They say, "Dave, what do I do about my hangover?" This is what you do about your hangover, okay? When you go to the bathroom, all right? When you go to the bathroom, because you're feeling a little nauseous, okay? You're feeling a little nauseous. You go to the bathroom, you take some toilet paper right here, okay? You take some toilet paper, and you take just this little bit right here, okay? You just take that little bit, all right? And what you do is you stick it between your teeth like this. You just go like that, Okay, it's kind of stuck in your teeth, okay? And then you lean over the sink, all right? And you go, that cures the hangover in about 15 minutes. But you got to do that with this in your mouth for at least 38 seconds in multiple intervals of about 58. And it cures it like it's nobody's business. It's unbelievable. But it's got to be Royale 2-ply toilet paper, not anything, not like, any other brand. It's got to be Royale 2-ply toilet paper. That's how you got to do it. Okay. And then you got to do that about 32 times afterwards when you leave the bathroom. But it's fine, and you do that and you'll be great. You'll be great. You'll be great. That's how you cure a hangover. ACDC 113089 says, where'd you go? It says, I'll give you $10,000 for that roll of toilet paper, Dave. $10,000 roll of toilet paper, ladies and gentlemen. $10,000 roll of toilet paper. Who am I to turn that down? I mean, let's be honest here. Now remember, with it in your mouth. And if your wife asks you, what you're doing, you just say, honey, if she's hungover, then the two of you have to stand in front of the sink going, but you do it first and then she does it. That's what you do. Tyler Davis says, if you could bring back any actor from the dead, who would it be? Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. Any actor from the dead. You know what? There's two that I would love to see that we could use a couple of good movies from right now, and that would be Robin Williams and John Candy. Robin Williams and John Candy for sure. I would love to see a couple of Robin Williams and John Candy movies right now. That's what I think anyway. Yeah, listen, guys, I hope you're doing okay because this whole situation is not exciting for anybody. It's affecting not just obviously the entertainment industry, but the world. I mean, it's affecting business. It's affecting people's lives. It's taking people's lives. It's inconveniencing people's lives. It's and big shout out really if anybody is watching and you are a healthcare provider or a first responder, my hat goes off to you anyway. Regardless of what day of the week or time of year it is, and regardless of what's going on in the world, but especially right now, I should say, my hat goes off to you, whether you are a doctor, a nurse, a paramedic, a police officer, a firefighter. It's times like these where, listen, I understand, okay, and I really do, that there are bad eggs everywhere. There are bad police officers. There are great police officers. There are bad firefighters and great firefighters. There are bad paramedics and great paramedics. There are bad doctors and great doctors. But, and it's easy because of the shit that sometimes goes down with law enforcement and first responders and, and sometimes it's justified. I mean, there are bad seeds and bad eggs all over the place, but I don't think we truly honor and say thank you enough to these individuals, because when the going gets tough, when you need help for whatever reason, they are there. And that is something. So I just want to say to all the healthcare providers right now, all over the world, that are dealing with this, stay strong, stay vigilant. We appreciate what you're doing right now. It may not feel like it. It may not seem like it, but we truly do appreciate what you are doing right now. Because this is not a movie. This is real life. And this is the shit that movies are based on. And speaking of that, there's no doubt in my mind that probably in the next 5 or 6 years, maybe even before that, we'll get a Hollywood COVID-19 movie. And it'll be called COVID-19. And it's like, it'll be like a sequel to Contagion or something like that. And then people will be like, COVID-19, what the hell happened? What the hell happened through, to 1 through 18? What the fuck's going on? People don't understand. But seriously, and I look, it may sound a little cliche to say that, but it is absolutely true. When something doesn't affect you, when you are not dealing with it personally or know somebody who has, there is an emotional disconnect from what's going on. It feels a little surreal. You feel a little indestructible because you're watching it from afar. And you're watching the news and you know what's going on. You hear it and you can sense it and see it and all that kind of stuff. But there is a disconnect. And, it seems a little surreal, but it's real. What's going on right now is real. And I just think that the first responders and our healthcare providers need that support and need to be reminded that that we care, we understand, and we appreciate what you're doing right now. Absolutely, 100%. There is no doubt about it. But yeah, hopefully you guys are doing okay and staying safe. I just thought I would come on here, this impromptu live AMA, and talk to you guys and chit chat and just kind of sit back and relax and, whatever you guys want to talk about. Here's a good one. Toronto Freddy said, did you all hear about Kenny Rogers? Yes, Kenny Rogers passed away either today or yesterday or whatever it is. He passed away. He was 81, which is so surprising because he always looked to me, he always looked older. Like I'm surprised he wasn't 181. He's like, really? He was only 81? God, he looked like he was 60, 40 years ago. But it's because he went prematurely gray, or went gray early. But anyway, yeah, Kenny Rogers, of course, passed away. A music legend is gone, and that's you've heard me say that a few times on this channel that we are bound to lose. Over the next 10 years or so, there's a lot of people checking out. So yes, definitely rest in peace to Kenny Rogers. Let me just go back. I always have to go back and there's no super chats because YouTube is funky weird. Sometimes super chats will show up in the chat room, and sometimes 99% of the time they do, but every now and then I'll see somebody say, Dave, you missed a super chat, and I'll go back and look and I don't see it there. But when I go back to the other window where the live feed is created, I see it there. And it's like, that's what YouTube, what the fuck you trying to do? What the fuck you trying to do, YouTube? What the hell are you trying to do, you son of a bitch? Anyway. Edward A. Sardo says, what's good, Dave? How are you taking care of Veda during these times? Veda's good. She is, she's an indoor cat, so she's used to, self-isolating. But she's good. She's an absolute doll. She's so much fun and so cute. And, she keeps me company, of course. And, she's doing good. Yeah. I posted a picture. Because cats, obviously are natural born predators. They behave in certain ways that are very predatory. And there are many times where and she's a black cat, so often she's difficult to spot. And so there will be many times where I will go into my bedroom or go somewhere around, and I can sense that she's around, but I can't see her. And so the other day I was sitting here doing some work, and I could hear her because she has this great, it's like she actually asks if she can come in, not all the time. Sometimes she just barges in, but sometimes she'll be at the door and I'll hear like, me. And I'm like, what the hell? And I look, and she's there, but she's one-eyeing me. So she's doing this kind of thing. You know what I mean? And she's one-eyeing me, and it's so cute. It's so funny. And that's what cats do, because they do that. Predators do that. So, I mean, we often joke around and say that, if I was smaller, I'd be dead. Like, the only reason why she doesn't kill me is because I feed her and I'm bigger than her. I mean, let's be honest here, right? And I have this great book too that says, the title of the book is, it's something like How to Tell If Your Cat is Plotting to Kill You or something. It's really funny. It's such a funny book. I love it. Yeah. All right. Let's, fucking right, man.
Trick or treat, motherfucker!
Trick or treat, motherfucker. Hey, reminder, this Monday night on Two Dudes and Some Bullshit, episode 62, Tony, Michael, and I are watching Halloween 5. You know it. You love it. You want it. You wanted to see it. We're going to watch it on Monday night, 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's episode 62. I made a post about that, obviously, earlier today. And it's so funny because sometimes when I make posts about Halloween, I'll get people saying, Halloween again? God, you guys always talk about Halloween. So in that post, I said, now for those of you that think, that are going to say that or think that, actually, although it might seem like we talk about Halloween a lot, and we do get a lot of questions about it in the Q&A afterwards, out of 61 episodes that Tony and I have done, Halloween in one form or another, whether it's the original or part 4 or 5 or the remake or, whatever, Rob Zombie, Halloween in one form or another has only been a main topic 9 times out of 61 episodes. That means there are 52 episodes of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit that have nothing to do with Halloween. Now, that doesn't mean that when we get to the Q&A part of the show that there isn't a Halloween or, Halloween question or two that comes up. But the main topic, we've only done it 9 times. This time will be this Monday, I think, will be the 10th time. So I mean, that's not as much as people think. Not as much as people think. Zach Axiola says, I hate the Pearl Harbor film for its historical accuracy. I think it's insulting to the people who actually died in the attack. Your thoughts? Well, to be fair, I know the movie you're talking about. It's from 2001. Hans Zimmer did the score. It's a beautiful score. I love that score. I think it was Hans Zimmer. Obviously I know the Pearl Harbor attack, and obviously it was, that was the attack that essentially thrusted the, United States into the Second World War. But I don't know a lot of the details in terms of whether or not it's historically accurate or not. Like I would have no idea. So I don't know. But if it's not historically accurate, well, then that's something that, that's something that I can absolutely see rubbing some people the wrong way. Jack Ellis sends in a super chat. Thank you, Jack. Says, hey, Dave, by the way, my dog's name is Sarge. He's the best. I've been binge watching The X-Files during the quarantine. What's your opinion on The X-Files? It's funny. The X-Files was a show that was, of course, hugely popular in the 1990s when I was a teenager, and I never watched it. It's funny. There are a lot of shows that were really popular in the pop culture, and I didn't watch. I think now, and I love mysteries and that kind of, I don't know why I didn't. My older brother, Bob, if he's watching, he's probably not watching, but if he is, he was a big X-Files fan back then. But I didn't watch it. I don't know. I can't remember why. Maybe I was into other things, I guess. But certainly the X-Files is something that I wouldn't mind revisiting, and watching all the old shows. Of course, the CG and the special effects are obviously a little dated now, but the stories are always fun. Like sometimes my girlfriend and I will sit and watch old episodes of Unsolved Mysteries, or things like that, and that's always fun. Well, you and your dog, Jack, stay safe. Stay safe. We got to protect our pets, folks. And thank you for supporting the channel, man. Really appreciate that. Keeps these things going. Keeps these things going. Travis, I always get this mixed up. Lauderbaugh. I'm totally butchering that. I know I am, Travis. I'm so sorry. I watched Carpenter's Ghosts of Mars for the first time last night, and it was way different from most of his movies. Wasn't a big fan of it. Have you seen it, Dave? Ghosts of Mars is a Carpenter film I've seen bits of, but not all the way through. So I wouldn't be able to speak to it fully. But I will say that doesn't surprise me, because it does look a bit different. Jacqueline McEwen says, I used to watch The X-Files, but only because I had a crush on David Duchovny, but I was completely lost because I didn't start from the beginning, so I eventually gave up. Can you watch The X-Files anywhere from the beginning via streaming now? Like, is it Hulu or Amazon Prime, or I don't think Netflix has it. Is there anywhere where you can do that? Because that would definitely be cool to do. Interesting. Okay. Now let's see. That was the only one. Okay. Good. Excuse me. Yeah. Yeah. Wonder how Mike from We Watched a Movie is doing with his hangover. He's just got to do that. I mean, it'll sound crazy for, to people in the house, but just, tell your daughters and tell your wife, hey, honey, I just got to do this. Can you imagine hearing that? What the hell is Dad doing up there? It's okay, sweetheart. It's okay. Toe Cutter, ooh, that sounds deadly, says, hey, Dave, today here in the UK, they were spitting at each other over paracetamol tablets. Am I saying that right? Paracetamol? I think that's how you pronounce that. Medication, right? I thought of your experience with the toilet paper, or not medication, but yeah. I thought of your experience with toilet paper. It's crazy. I take big shits, massive. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Like, people need to calm down. They really do. They need to calm down. Darren Sands has made his way into the chat room. Evening, folks. Afternoon, Darren. Let's see. Brandon Gregory says, since you live in the GTA, how does COVID-19 compare to your memories of SARS? That's a great question. When SARS hit the GTA, and for those of you that may not know what he's talking about, the GTA is, he's not talking about the video game. He's talking about the greater Toronto area. So there's the city of Toronto, of course, and then you know how in Chicago they call, the larger area, the big area, Chicagoland, right? They call that Chicagoland. Well, here it's the same thing, but we call it the GTA, the greater Toronto area. And I would say SARS was 2003. I remember it very well. Same sort of similar things like, washing your hands, being vigilant, not going anywhere where there's a lot of people or, distancing yourself from people who are sick and all that kind of stuff. But it wasn't to this level. Now, also social media didn't exist then either. Now, I know some people say, well, MySpace existed and it's like, yeah, but I'm talking about social media as we know it today, obviously. I mean, I know technically there was MySpace and there were a couple little blogs, but I'm talking about social media. I'm not talking about MySpace in its infancy. It didn't exist. Right? YouTube wasn't until a couple years later. Facebook wasn't until the next year, and even a year or two after that when it really hit the mass scale. No Twitter, no Instagram, no smartphones. We were still into the flip phone era. So it was very different. And this is a whole other level. This is like, it's not, obviously the virus is not catastrophic because it's not, and what I mean is I'm not saying it's not deadly, but I'm saying it's not to the point where like it's airborne and you have to stay, like you can't even, like it's tuberculosis or the Black Plague or something that could literally wipe out millions, maybe billions of people just by breathing the same air. I mean that's but the implementation of some of the things we're doing is almost as close as you can get to, like I can imagine like the catastrophic and the seriousness of the situation that's happening right now. Like it almost feels like a dress rehearsal for something even deadlier. And that's scary. So it's certainly, I mean, I don't recall the entertainment industry shutting down in the ways that it has, with SARS and I mean, it's just, and everything, bars, restaurants, nightclubs, beaches, gyms, transit, I mean, certainly there were things going on, but I remember walking downtown Toronto. Like I don't remember any sort of ban or stay inside. And so it was very different. It's a very different type of virus. Same thing. It's a corona virus that affects your respiratory system, but it's different. So, I mean, this feels much more apocalyptic and much more, and I don't mean this to sound insensitive, but this feels much more cinematic, like we're in a movie, like that's what it feels like. It didn't feel that way, 17 years ago, I guess. At least not from what I can remember. So it's pretty crazy stuff. Jack Ellis sends in another super chat. Thank you so much, Jack. Really appreciate you supporting the channel that way, man. Also, have you seen Oliver Stone's JFK? Yes, saw it years ago. Love that movie. John Candy has a part in that movie too. I really like that movie a lot. Yep. Back and to the left. Back and to the left. Back and to the left. Let's see here. Crystal Lake Counselor 1977 says, Dave, did you ever notice that Vader tells Luke twice that Obi-Wan taught him well? Did he have no knowledge of Yoda teaching him? Did they search for him during the Purge? Okay. Well, when Obi-Wan has taught you well. I see what you're saying. That's a good question. I think it probably has something. Look, here's what we have to keep in mind, okay? Here's the thing with retrospect and going back. When the original Star Wars trilogy was made, there was no expanded universe. There were no, like, it wasn't what it is today. And people weren't dissecting it like it was a religion. Now, it grew into that, of course. And it was growing even when those movies were coming out. But a lot of the things that we look back on and try to make sense of wasn't what they were doing. It had nothing to do with that, right? So, who knows if Vader even knew who Yoda was? We have no idea. Like, now you look back because they're back engineering now. So they're trying to create a larger universe out of something that was never supposed to be that large to begin with. Now, I know George always said, well, I'm planning on doing, 6 films or, 9 films, 12 films. I get all that. But George didn't have screenplays for this. He had a couple of treatments and some ideas, but it's not like he had, every screenplay locked and loaded and ready to go and he just waited on it. That's not what happened. He had ideas, and those ideas even changed multiple times. And so, we have no idea at that moment shooting The Empire Strikes Back when Vader's like, Obi-Wan has taught you well. It's like, well, why didn't he say Yoda? Because he probably didn't know who the fuck Yoda was. In that moment, shooting the movie at that time. It's like looking at the original Halloween, right? We can look at the original Halloween now, right? And try to make sense of, he's doing that because that's his sister, right? Yeah, but when they made the original Halloween, it wasn't his sister. That thought was not even there. So when you take it for what it was at that time, in the moment actually making it, it wasn't engineered and executed to give you that impression. It wasn't. It's just after that, people go back and analyze things that are actually not really there. They're actually not really there, but they because of certain things they do after that, it sort of makes that, even though it's that wasn't the intention, it makes it work in some sort of, you can look at it and think that and make yourself feel better, even though in reality, Laurie is not Michael's sister at all in the original Halloween. Not at all. No, and that was never the intention. Not at all. But you can go back and look at certain things now and go, it's just, I think it's similar things with a lot of the things that happen with movies like that. Now, again, to be fair, at one time I considered myself a Star Wars expert. I'm not anymore. I mean, it's so deep, so nerdy, so sweaty, so ridiculous that there's so many things I don't even know about. I mean, maybe actually paragraph 5, section 3 says that, maybe. But when I watch the movies, 4, 5, and 6, Star Wars, Empire, and Return of the Jedi, I don't recall ever anything in any of those movies ever alluding to the fact that Vader knows who Yoda is. Ever. I don't know. We know that Vader knows who Obi-Wan is. We know that they fought in the Clone Wars because of exposition from Obi-Wan in the first movie. We know that. But Vader? Who knows, right? We have no idea when you just take those movies as is. So according to Vader, he's, he can sense, because he has a connection with Obi-Wan, he can sense that Obi-Wan has talked to him, has taught him things about the Force and how it works. And so he's like, Obi-Wan's taught you well, because he notices the control and things like that Luke has. And, but then, and without the future movies, it maybe wouldn't be a big deal. But when we have all this other canon and all these things, and we look at it a bit more through, a different lens and a bit more of an analytical lens, we look at it and we're kind of like, well, yeah, wouldn't Vader, but that's kind of how I see it. I think too, when you're writing the script, it makes more sense for him to say Obi-Wan has taught you well, because he has a personal, intimate connection with that character, which was revealed by Obi-Wan himself in the first movie. So I just think poetically it sounds better. It makes more sense. But I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying. Jack Ellis sends in he sent in a super chat, but the message was retracted. Well, that's thanks for the super chat anyway, Jack. Feel free to ask it again if you want. You can just @ me. You don't have to pay for it. Let's see here. Brandon Barry says, Dave, what do you think of the rumor of Wonder Woman 1984 coming to streaming? Could this be the start of other summer blockbusters? Hey, listen, I've talked to a few people that I know in the industry, and there are definitely a lot of things that are going to change. But I just saw an article today. Apparently Warner Brothers is still planning on releasing Wonder Woman theatrically. Now, that doesn't mean it will be in June, which I think was the original release month, right? I think that doesn't mean it's going to be in June. As a matter of fact, it probably won't be in June, but maybe it'll be a November release, right? Or maybe it'll be a Christmas release. I mean, I don't know. Like, they have to look at the landscape and find out what other studios are doing, and they have to make sure, like, it's a whole thing. It's not just, okay, we're not going to release it. We'll just release it here. No. These are strategic plans in place, and they aren't the only studios that are going to be moving release dates around. So, it's a whole operation that they are no doubt working diligently, trying to figure out at this very moment. I would say that, but according the article that I saw, I forget who it was, said that is still the plan. So, but I mean, yeah, look, I mean, it's interesting times. There would have to be, when you make 150, if your movie costs, $2 million to make, you might be able to make that up through Blu-ray sales and on demand. But when you are making multi-million-dollar blockbusters, okay, Marvel, Star Wars, Planet of the Apes, whatever, sci-fi epics, massive, $250 million pictures, you're just not going to make that. And then again, that's the production budget. Let's say your movie costs $150 million to make. That's your production budget. That doesn't include marketing. And then you spend like another, $100 million on marketing or something. I mean, you just don't make that up on VOD. You just don't do it. Not now, not yet. There would have to be a different plan in place. I mean, you would have to charge an enormous amount of money, because you see, when you go to the theater, each individual that is in the seat pays for their individual ticket. Right now I can rent The Hunt for $20 and invite 40 of my friends over to watch it, and 40 people for the price of $20. I mean, that's an insanely amount of lost money. It's just ridiculous. So, although it looks like that's what's going to happen, I don't think that's going to become the Not now, not yet. Not unless there was some, absolute restructuring of the system. They can't just, because of the events that have happened, they can't just then say, oh, well, you know what, let's just do that now. You can't. You can do it maybe with, if I was to make a little film and it cost me, $1 million or something, sure, okay, great. But you can't do that with Star Wars or Marvel. You're going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars, and it's just not feasible. So there's very specific reasons why they're doing it right now. But Wonder Woman, they can't release Wonder Woman on streaming and expect to make back that budget. Ain't gonna happen. Not now, not yet. There would have to be a restructuring of the whole system, and I just don't see that happening yet. Will the industry have changed? Will this change our thinking and change the trajectory of certain things and really sort of get us thinking about streaming a little more seriously and put in emergency measures and start to... Will it change things that way and kind of yes, get us on a path that we're talking about this kind of thing, we're thinking about it, things are in place and all that, if it happens again, sure. But once the pandemic is over, you're not just going to suddenly see no more movie theaters and everything going to streaming just like that. That's not going to happen. It can't. They just lose way too much money. Let me see here. Intel Wild says, hey, Dave, my sister, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Really appreciate it. Hey, Dave, my sister and I are watching your live AMA right now. I call her Beast. Can you give her a shout out? You call your sister Beast? Well, hopefully that's a form of flattery. Yes. Okay. Beast, beautiful Beast. There we go. We'll call her Beautiful Beast. I hope you are doing well. Hope you guys are having fun. I hope that's an inside thing from your childhood, Intel Wild. Otherwise, that's incredibly cruel. Let's see here. Darren has to have had to delete a couple of things. Yeah, folks. Remember, no Halloween. If you've seen the Halloween Kills test screening, if you're fortunate enough to have seen it, do not write anything in the chat room here. My fine moderators will remove it, and then of course I will obviously see it and check it out. And if you continue to do it, you'll just be blocked. I mean, I don't like to block anybody, but you know, we have to keep those types of things vigilant. So just keep that in mind, or I have to be vigilant, I should say, about that. Great to see, what do we got? 132 people watching Saturday afternoon. I hope you're safe. I hope you're doing okay. I hope everything's going well. In case you don't follow me on social media, I will say this as well. I made a post yesterday in regards to It's Me Billy, and I would just say that our plan for It's Me Billy was to release our Indiegogo campaign next month in April. Well, I mean, naturally, because of the events that are happening, we have decided to delay that, and we are going to reassess. Myself and Bruce are going to reassess where we are at the end of April. And if, you know, kind of assess where the world is, where the entertainment industry is, and make the decision then at the end of April whether or not we want to launch our campaign sometime in May or push it once again and reassess again at the end of May. This is really a day-to-day, maybe even sometimes hour-by-hour, certainly month-to-month, week-to-week situation here. And, you know, we want to, you know, it's twofold, right? Like, you know, we want to be able to set ourselves up to allow our campaign to have the best probability of success. But at the same time, we recognize, because of the situation that's happening right now, for people who are really excited and want to donate right now, people are out of work, people are being laid off. You know, your hard-earned money needs to be going to the resources for survival and the safety and security of yourself and your family. And, so that's the most important thing right now. And we don't want to launch our campaign right in the middle of this. And people are like, hey, listen, man, I'd love to donate, I'd love to help, but I can't. I got to buy groceries, right? You know what I mean? And naturally, of course. I mean, that comes first. So we've decided to do, we are almost ready to go. Like, we're constantly working on the campaign behind the scenes. We're excited, of course, because obviously we announced our cast, which I think I might be able to bring up here. Let me just move over here. Yes, there we go. There is the cast, of course, the main cast for It's Me Billy: Victoria Miro, Shelby Handley, and Malika Henny, I think is how you pronounce the last name there. And they are extraordinarily talented and very excited to get this project underway. But I informed them as well that our campaign will be delayed. They understood. I mean, they're in isolation and lockdown themselves as well. So we're all sort of hunkering down, trying to make the best of this situation. But I could not be more excited about working with these three fine actresses here when we do get going and launch that campaign. And hopefully, of course, we will be able to, raise the money that we need for the campaign. And we'll know how much exactly that is once Bruce and I have solidified the production budget. But we are really excited for this movie. I mean, we're taking it to the next level. We're going all out, and I couldn't be more excited as well. The cinematographer who we've brought on board, Greg Bennett, who is a two-time CSA, Canadian Society of Cinematographer Award nominee. He's the real deal, working at the top of the game here in the film industry in Toronto and in Canada. And I just met him, but Bruce has known him for about 15 years, and really excited to work with him because he's the real deal, as they say. So Greg, if you're watching, can't wait to work with you, buddy. So we are assembling the best we can here. And we're really excited. We want you guys, of course, when the time is right, when this shit has fucking calmed down, to, of course, donate to the campaign and help us out and raise that money that we need, because we want you guys to be a part of it, and to make this a reality. And but that will come when the campaign is launched. And we thought it was best right now to kind of just, let's delay this a little bit and let people kind of get their footing under this crazy situation that's going on right now. But in the meantime, though, I'll be talking about It's Me Billy here on the channel. We'll be, I'll be posting about it and all that kind of stuff. And also, if you are on social media, if you are on Facebook, if you are, feel free to, because we would love for you guys, if you want to, you don't have to, of course, but if you want to, we'd really appreciate it. I'm going to put the link in the description here, or in the chat room, the official Facebook page for It's Me, Billy. So I'm just going to put it in the chat room there. There we go. That should do it. I think that should take you to the Facebook page, and it does. Perfect. So if you are on Facebook and you if you're on Facebook, because not everybody is, feel free to give that page a like and a follow. We'd really appreciate it. That's where, of course, we're posting a lot of the news and the updates and things like that. I'm cross-promoting now at the moment because we only have about 330 people who like the page at the moment. But if we can get those numbers up, then the real juicy stuff will probably only be advertised there as well, right? You know what I mean? So, give that a like if you can. We'd really appreciate it because we're serious about this, folks. We are excited. Let me see here. But Tony Michael is in the chat room. Fuck this situation. Go create and live your life. I agree. We definitely have to live our lives. We certainly cannot stop our lives. That's for sure. For sure. I could not agree more. Let me see here. Michael Stapp says, have you caught the name error in Halloween 4 for Michael? A paper being typed says Michael M. Myers instead of Michael A. Myers. Yes, I have caught that. Definitely, it is Michael. I wonder what the M stands for. Do people know what the M stands for? I mean, A we know is Audrey, but I don't know what the M stands for. Super chat from Jack Ellis says, have you seen Better Watch Out or Knives Out? I haven't seen Better Watch Out, but I did see Knives Out. I saw that back in the fall in the theater, and I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was really, really good. A prime example of how Rian Johnson is an incredibly talented writer and filmmaker. He is. He just needs to stay away from Star Wars. Ken the 10, 11, 12, 13. I think that's 13, I think. Ken the 13th says, Dave, do you think with the recent delays in big studio films this year, is the time for independent fan films to shine? Well, that depends, because here's the thing. It depends on which level you're talking about. If you're talking about just, I don't want to say, yeah. If you're talking about just fan films in general, then I would say maybe. But if you're talking about more of the higher end fan films, like Never Hike Alone and Dylan's New Nightmare and It's Me, Billy, we utilize many of the resources that the studio films do. And what I mean by that is a lot of the production houses in terms of lighting and grip gear and camera gear and all that kind of stuff and actors. And, we utilize sort of the same, not the exact same, but there's a lot of some of the same sort of avenues. And like, for example, my buddy Bruce, who I had on the show yesterday, works for, William F. White International, which is Canada's largest distributor of motion picture lighting and grip gear. And we were going to be using Whites for short. That's the name of the company, Whites for short. The name of the company is William F. White, but it's Whites for short. We're going to be utilizing Whites for our lighting and grip gear, and maybe even cameras as well, because they have a camera department. But we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we've raised our budget. So right now, I mean, Whites is in not a virtual lockdown, but they've scaled things back. Productions are not coming up here. There's a lot of things that we have to delay certain things as well because of the resources and the avenues we are implementing to make our fan film. So our fan film is a fan filming category, but it's a professional independent production. So we're not, just getting our friends together and, hey, here we go. Not that there's anything wrong with that, by the way. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And you can dish out some pretty fucking cool, solid shit by doing that. But it depends on the level of fan film that you're talking about. I know that Vincent DeSante, and again, I don't want to speak for him, but he just finished about a couple of weeks ago, the prequel Never Hike in the Snow, the prequel to Never Hike Alone. But that's a professional independent production. I can imagine that, and again, I don't want to speak for him, but maybe Vince is watching and he can let me know. I can imagine that he just made it under. he just finished that film under. I mean, I can imagine that if he was planning to go to camera now, he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it because of the resources and the people he's implementing in this production. Like, you know, and I mean, Dylan's new Nightmare has been not canceled per se, but it's been delayed. We were going to be shooting at the end of May, but Cecil let me know that that's not happening because of everything that's, you know, going on. Again, another professional independent production. So it depends on the level of fan films. I think where this can really shine is, yeah, maybe if you know, you got, you know, your DSLRs, you're using your buddies and your friends, and you can, you know, you make a movie. Yeah, I think those things can absolutely shine. Maybe, but then you have to think about if everybody's in social isolation, you know, and quarantine, then that might not, unless it's already done and you can put it up online. Maybe. But yeah, it all depends. I mean, we're not, you know, a studio and we're not dishing out a studio film, but you know, we're still making a movie, and we still have to be mindful of the health and safety and security of our cast and crew. And that comes first and foremost. So hopefully that answered your question. Really appreciate you asking that. That's a good question. Very good. But yeah, there's a lot of great Halloween fan films online, and Friday fan films, and Elm Street fan films you guys can check out. And hopefully we'll be able to get a Black Christmas one in there eventually too. Well, we will. I believe it. I have confidence. Let's see here. Jack Carter says, can you take my account out of timeout? Considering I've been sub to Dave for 12 years, I wasn't even spoiling anything, purely speculating. Well, your account is okay. Here's the thing that's very important because, and again, you know, Jack, keep in mind that it's never personal, right? It's just that if people don't, you know, if you're going to write something about Halloween Kills, and this is for everybody, this is totally for everybody, right? Make sure that maybe you put speculation and then put like a colon and then write what you're thinking. Therefore, the mods know, oh, okay, you know what I mean? He's totally just, you know what I mean? Because sometimes what people will do is they'll write, depending on how the sentence is structured, it'll play out like as if it's a statement as opposed to a thought or hey, you know, what about this kind of thing, right? You know, we're all family here, right? We're all trying to ride this ship together, you know, and Jack absolutely has been a great supporter of the channel. There's no doubt about that, Jack. You are awesome. But sometimes these things happen as we try to sort of, you know, monitor and ride the wave, so to speak. So if you're going to post something about Halloween Kills, it's probably best to err on the side of caution just in case, because we don't know who has seen it or not. And if it comes out and looks like it could be a test screening kind of spoiler, you want to make sure that, hey, guys, you know, I just want to let you know I'm just speculating here, right? You know, it just makes it a little better. Let's see here. Did I miss any? Okay, I'm just going to go back to the dashboard, make sure I didn't miss any super chats. I don't believe I did. Great. How long? We've been going now for about 48 minutes or so. Nice to see everybody here rocking it. Nice to see everybody. Stay safe, everybody. Remember, stay safe. Don't be crazy. As Tony said, live your life. You got to live your life. You can't stop, but you know, but at the same time, take the necessary precautions to mitigate the situation as well. You know, it's a balance, right? It's a balance that is very, very important. Grant F says, Dave, have you seen the Trick or Treat Studios Michael Myers figure? If so, what are your thoughts? I have, and I'm assuming you're talking about the original 1978 one. It looks awesome. But I'm skeptical because it's I don't want to say it's a prototype. It looks pretty finished. But it's the one that they're showcasing of, hey, look what we've got coming. But Trick or Treat Studios naturally mass produces their products, obviously. And when you mass produce products, you don't necessarily that doesn't mean that mass produce products can't be amazing. But with something like a Michael Myers mask or a Michael Myers figure, especially when we're talking about the original, it's entirely possible that when you mass produce these types of things, you can lose those subtle nuances and details that really make it look wow. Because I remember when, I think it was NECA, they did the same thing. It was a year or so ago or something. They released their Halloween 2 figure, like a show or something, and it looked spectacular. And then the NECA Halloween 2 figure that you buy looks good. But there's something missing from the original promotional figure they had. It still looks good. There's nothing wrong with it in and of itself. But I remember when somebody was doing a review, I was like, it's a little off, just a little, because they have to mass produce these things. And maybe I could buy one and mine would be better than that one, right? Like that's, you got to make, so I'm happy to see it, but I'm like, hey, is it going to look like that? Is every single person who orders the Trick or Treat Studios Michael Myers 1978 figure, is it going to look identical to that? And okay, when I say identical, obviously some things might be a bit different, but pretty much looks like that. Great. But if it's not, if it's going to look like a variation of that, it's a little tricky. It's a little tricky, little tricky, folks. But yes, definitely excited about it. I would love to get my hands on one, no doubt about it. Edwin A. Sordo says, what's good, Dave? Do you think you could create an Exorcist fan film? Exorcist doesn't have many fan films. Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think you could. I think you could create an Exorcist fan film for sure. I don't know what the story. I would like to see that. I know Tony Michael in the chat room. Again, I don't want to speak for Tony, but I know Tony is planning down the road at some point an Exorcist photo shoot. So keep your eyes out for that, because that's interesting. That's interesting. Let me see. Jonathan Nichols says it's like $15. Go watch a theater. If you don't know a theater. Oh, you guys can talk amongst each other. That's always good. Dan Curley says, Dave, what do you think the next Joker film it will be like? I don't know. I don't even know if they're going to make another one. Now, I mean, box office results suggest that they will, and maybe they should, obviously, but I would be okay if they didn't. It's unnecessary. You know, it really is. I don't know. All I hope is that if they do make another Joker film, a follow-up to this one, it has nothing to do with Batman. Batman is not in it, and it continues to follow the Joker's journey. In Joker, Bruce Wayne is introduced. He looks to be about what? 11, 12, somewhere in there, okay? And so you could make a sequel to Joker, set it maybe a couple years later, you know, Bruce Wayne would still only be about what, 14, 15. He's not Batman yet, right? So continue to follow the Joker's journey. That's what I'm interested in. That's why your movie made $1 billion, because it was, well, that wasn't the reason why. Obviously, it was a very interesting psychological thriller take on the Joker story. But that's what I'm interested in. So continue that story. That doesn't mean you can't allude to Batman or Bruce Wayne again, like you did in the first movie, but continue that story. That's what I want to see. Anyway, I don't want to be set like, 10 years later and Bruce Wayne and Batman. It's like, no, fuck that shit. Plus it'd be very confusing to the Batman that's coming out as well. So personally for me, I just let it go. I don't think they need to do that, but what the hell does it matter what I think? Wayne Downey says, have you ever watched the TV show Police Squad? They only made 6 episodes in the 80s. I think you can find it on YouTube. It's basically Leslie Nielsen as Frank Drebin in 6 mini Naked Gun movies. Yes. I do know the show you're talking, because that was the show that inspired the Naked Gun films. I mean, that's what the Naked Gun films are based upon. And they are funny. I love the Naked Gun movies, man. I really do. I think they are some of the funniest. Like that is the quintessential, the Naked Gun movies, Airplane, Spaceballs, but more so Airplane and the Naked Gun films are like the quintessential example of a spoof movie. Do you know what I mean? Like, just great. Just love those movies. Love those movies so much. So much. David Lee Barron sends in a super chat. Thank you, David. Says, do you think we'll ever see Tobey Maguire in another movie? I think it's a shame we haven't seen him in other great movies. Well, he's still acting. I mean, he's still in movies. He's just not in the big blockbuster movies. So let me see here. Tobey Maguire, what have you done lately? I really like that one he did with Jake Gyllenhaal a number of years back. Probably it's over 10 years ago now, I think. Brothers, I think, the military one. I think that's from 2008 now. It's a long time ago. But let's see. Okay, so his last movie was 2017. He was voicing the Boss Baby. He was in Pawns. No, you're right. He's been very far and few between, actually. Actually, that's a very good point. He hasn't done too much. I stand corrected. You're right. He is still acting. I mean, he was in a number of episodes of The Spoils of Babylon, Pawn Sacrifice in 2014. But you're right. He's very far and few between. Yeah, you're right. And Brothers was 2009. Yeah. Interesting. There could be a number. I'm not too up on what Tobey Maguire's career or personal life is like at the moment. Obviously, I don't know the guy. So there could be a number of factors why. There could be a number of personal reasons why. Listen, I mean, as crazy as it sounds, acting is a job, and we see the end result of the monotonous, tedious, tiresome, and wonderful, work that goes into making a movie, especially at that level. And, a lot of, I mean, maybe he's at a point in his life where he's like, you know what? I've done the acting thing and I'm just going to dabble in some other things at the moment. He's obviously very well off and he's comfortable and he can dabble in some other things. Maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe he's being a stay-at-home dad. I don't know. Is he a dad? Is he married? Does he have any kids? Maybe he's, raising his kids and he dabbles in a few things here or there. A lot of actors do. I mean, this is still a job. It's just the job they have pays them very well because it's a matter of supply and demand. I mean, that's why, you'll often hear people say, why do athletes get paid so much? Why are actors paid so much? Why is everybody in the entertainment? Why are they paid so much? Why are not doctors? Look, in a perfect world, your police officers, your firefighters, your doctors, they'd be paid, the millions of dollars. And it's ironic because obviously there is a demand for that. But when we talk about the world of business and the world of advertising, right? The sports world and the entertainment world is in high demand. And, people pay big money to see, to be entertained. And that's why they're paid the kind of money they are. It's not because the job they do is, I don't want to say worth that. It's not because of the job necessarily. It's because of the demand of the job and the demand of the job at certain levels. You know what I mean? Depending on who you are and all that kind of stuff. And that's all. I mean, that's a Cole's Notes or a Cliff Notes version, I should say. But that's essentially the reason why. And who knows? I'm not really. I don't know what Toby is doing right now. But you're right. He actually hasn't been in too many things over the last number of years, here or there, but nothing major. I like him as an actor. I do. I would like to see him in more things. I think it would be great to see him back in more things. So thanks for the super chat there, David. Really appreciate it. Okay, just going back to my other screen. And that was the last super chat. Okay, good. Duke Fleet says, Dave, do you like Zack Snyder's Man of Steel and Batman v Superman? I thought I was a little disappointed with Man of Steel. I think it looks great. I love Henry Cavill as Superman. It's the best looking Superman we've ever had. I love Michael Shannon as an actor, period. The emotional side of the movie fell flat for me, which was, of course, the connection between Lois Lane and Superman. And I didn't feel it. I love Amy Adams. I love Henry Cavill. I didn't buy it. Part of the charm of the original Superman movies is that, and again, I know you can't necessarily implement that kind of a movie because it's very hokey and cheesy and cartoony. How do you not know that this guy is fucking Superman, right? And he played him as a, bubbling idiot. It's very sort of, cartoony. I get it. And there's a certain charm to it. And it's a great movie. It's a classic. I know you can't exactly do that with Man of Steel. But Lois Lane, Amy Adams, her character, Lois Lane, finds out who Superman is in that movie. Like there's no mystery to their relationship. There's no seeing it unfold. It just fell flat. I don't know. Maybe I'd have to watch it again. I haven't watched it in a number of years because it was 2013, I think, when that came out. Maybe I just didn't buy into the chemistry. Maybe there just was no chemistry because there was no foreplay. And what I mean by foreplay is that part of the charm of watching the original relationship between Christopher Reeves and Margot Kidder was that shy, coy foreplay that she had with this guy that she didn't even know was fucking Superman, and I think I missed that. I missed that in Man of Steel. I thought that was really cool to see, and we didn't get that. So it kind of it looked great, but the emotional core I think was missing for me. Funny enough, Batman v Superman, I thought I was going to loathe, and I was thoroughly entertained. Now, I thought it was a chock full of it was so convoluted, but funny enough, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for the spectacle. So yeah, good question, man. Good question. Don't get too many Superman questions on here. So that was a good question for sure. Let me see, what do we got going on? Let me see if I can find somebody I haven't. It's great to see everybody here. 153 people watching. Hopefully you guys are having a good afternoon. Hey, let me just bring up while we're waiting. Take a bit of a breather here. Let me bring up the synopsis for It's Me, Billy, the Black Christmas fan film I'm in development on. Hey, there's that synopsis there for you, folks. Unaware of the danger that's hunting her, Sam and her two best friends are spending Christmas Eve at her grandmother's old country mansion. Stalked by a sinister evil that's been lurking in the shadows for nearly 50 years, Sam is about to come face to face with her grandmother's chilling Christmas past, the deranged psychopath known only as Billy. And of course, there's the cast right there. The main cast. We still have some other people we are casting, but that, of course, is the main cast for It's Me, Billy. And yes, hopefully we'll be able to launch that Indiegogo campaign. Again, it's not going to be next month as originally planned, but hopefully maybe in May. I have a feeling with the things the way are going, it might not be till June, but we'll see. It's a day-by-day thing. So yeah, really excited about that, folks. And again, if you're on Facebook and you want to follow and like the It's Me Billy Facebook page, we'd really appreciate it. I'm once again going to put the link in the chat room there. So feel free to like that page and support it if you want. You don't have to. I don't want to fucking do it. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to like, McRae. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Just there if you want to. Just thought maybe you'd want to. It's there. Matthew Mills says, have you started working on your Indiegogo teaser yet? We have, yes, we haven't shot it yet, but yes, we have. Great question. Thank you so much. We have begun working on it. Now, this isn't going to be an extravagant, lavish teaser. We just want, we want this to be the purest definition of a teaser, where it's like, it's, maybe it's a minute 30 seconds long, and it's the purest definition of a teaser, but it'll be done in a way that just gets you excited. It's just like, oh, okay, this is cool. This is cool. This is, really kind of whets that, that appetite. But it's the purest definition of a teaser. Like, it's not going to be like, 2.5 minutes long and all the characters are in it and, all these things are happening. And no, we don't want to do that. We want it just a little, just a little something, just a little something to go with the campaign, and get people kind of excited, whet your appetite and all that kind of stuff. So yes, we have begun working on it, but we haven't shot it yet. And I don't know when we're going to get to. Hopefully, maybe we'll be able to get to shoot it next month. It all depends on what's happening at White's, where Bruce works, and whether or not we are able to get some gear. So we'll have to see. I mean, it all depends. But yes, we've begun working on it, the preliminary stages of that anyway. Jack Carter sends a super chat. Thank you, buddy. Says, I love this channel and community. Hope everyone is okay. We love you too, Jack, man. I mean, yes, stay safe, stay vigilant. As Tony said, and he's absolutely right, don't stop living your life. Make sure that you take the precautions. What's going on. Don't surround yourself with 500 people. I mean, that's probably not the best thing to do. But be vigilant. But still, don't be scared. Don't be afraid. Right. Allow yourself to be informed so you can make the proper decisions based on facts, right? Be informed based on informed information, right? That's really, really important. So we can make those informed decisions, not knee-jerk reactions that ironically are going to put us more in harm's way than not. So that's really important that we follow that. So, but Tony's right. I mean, just calm, cool, live your life, just be chill, everything's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. Jack Ellis, it's two Jacks. I was like, didn't you just say something? Jack Ellis says, thoughts on Robert Downey Jr.'s Sherlock Holmes. Oh, I got to admit, I have yet to see his 2 Sherlock Holmes movies. My girlfriend's always like, we should watch those because she enjoyed them. I should. I really should. I just haven't. I know they've been trying to get a 3rd one going for a while. And I know his, Dr. Dolittle film didn't. Now, I haven't seen it, but I've heard the reviews were not very good and it tanked at the box office. So, Robert Downey Jr. is an interesting draw. He draws well when it's Iron Man, but that's because it's Iron Man. And that's because he has it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You put me in there and my movie could make, $250 million at the box office. And it's not because of me. It's because I'm playing some character connected to the overall arcing story that people are absolutely unequivocally obsessed over. So, now if I'm good and I'm, and people can resonate with my character, that's great because, if they don't, then, probably not going to want me back. But Robert Downey Jr. is interesting. I mean, I remember when he did that movie, The Judge with, what's his face? I'm drawing a blank on his name now. Chat will let me know. Why am I drawing? I'm drawing a blank on his name. What the fuck? It's L. It's him. Come on, chat. Judge. Robert Downey Jr. That's right. Robert Duvall. Thank you. That movie apparently was pretty good. Didn't do it, and that was in the height of Iron Man. Like that was he had done a couple Iron Man movies, a couple MCU films, a couple appearances. Drops The Judge. Nothing. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gave a fuck. Does this, wraps up the MCU as we know it, 22 films, I Love You 3000. I haven't seen the movie. I just know that's in it. All these things. Oh my God, it's Iron Man. Iron Man, fucking yeah, fucking Iron Man. Yeah, fuck yeah. Doolittle drops, nothing. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody goes sees it. He's an interesting actor because he's got charisma. He's got on-screen presence. He's a fine actor, but outside of Iron Man in the MCU, I don't know what he's got. I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting, which is another reason why I hope they don't bring him back to the MCU. Now, listen, I am not an MCU expert. I'm not a superhero expert. I've only seen probably 4 of the 22 films of the MCU. But you cannot be alive today and be a part of the industry and, do this YouTube show and talk to you guys and not know what the fuck is going on in the MCU. And my buddy Bruce is a superhero MCU guy. So he's seen them all. He knows what's going on. So he fills me in. And I just got to say that, I know obviously, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but I think, come on. If you haven't seen Endgame by now, you're probably not going to see it. He doesn't make it out, right? He's kaputs. And people, I don't bring him back, man. I mean, this, and it's not just the MCU. It's Hollywood. It's fake dying. You die and then you bring people back. Let him go. Let him go. Let him die. It gives value and weight for the rest of eternity for that movie and that scene at that moment. Imagine if Darth Vader came back. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, for all the people out there that are pissed off that the Emperor came back, I understand it. I get that, okay? But one of the reasons why I was, okay with it, was mainly because George Lucas set up the probability in Revenge of the Sith. It wasn't J.J. Abrams that came up with the idea that may be possible. That was George Lucas. George Lucas created the scene where, Palpatine is talking to Anakin about Darth Plagueis the Wise and, the pathway to many abilities, some consider to be unnatural. That was George Lucas's creation. Now, that doesn't mean, I know George, said that, yes, his intention was when the Emperor fell, he died. And you know what? Maybe at the end of the day, that would have been the best thing. Just that's it. I get it. But the idea and bringing him back, do I think they should have elaborated on that more? Would it have been nice if episode 9 was 2 movies? We got 9 and 10, or it was a 3-hour movie where they could, expand on that, breathe on that, make it feel like Emperor Palpatine's return was a little more organic, a little more earned, a little more, interesting. Yes, I agree with that. But the idea of him being there, that's not a J.J. Abrams idea. I mean, or it's not it is a J.J. Abrams creation, but that seed was planted long ago, that maybe he did figure it out. It was never, I don't believe, unless there's a comic or a book that I don't fucking know about, but I don't believe based on the movie that it was ever hardcore fact that yes, Palpatine has figured out how to cheat death. It was just heavily alluded to that he might have that knowledge in that scene. So JJ took and thought, well, that's interesting. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, back to Robert Downey Jr. Just, let him, don't bring, because I worry that because he's not really drawn anywhere else, that he himself is going to go, okay, I'll come back. And it's kind of like, oh man, no, let him go, let him die. Unless there's some scene, maybe you guys can help me out. Is there some scene where Robert Downey Jr. has a Darth Plagueis the Wise discussion with Thor? I mean, is there something like that I don't know about? I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm just saying. Let's see here. Fandom Empire sends in a super chat. Thank you, Fandom Empire. That's right, Sean. That's right. Hey, Sean, how you doing, buddy? Great work, man. Stay safe. Thank you very much. Hope your toilet paper plan is going well. Look forward to another interview with you. Yes, absolutely. Look forward to that too, my man. I have I have my toilet paper right here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what everybody should be doing. Now, pay close attention here, folks. This is what we all should be doing to ration our toilet paper in this time of crisis. Or do you say crises? I say crisis. Okay, here we go. All right. This toilet paper, this single roll is going to last me the next 13 years. And this is how I take this. Okay, there we go. Right there. That's it. See, that's it. That is what I use. Don't ask how hey, I don't know. I have no idea how I'm going to make this work, okay? I don't know. No, okay? Your guess is just as good as mine, but it's either this or the 3 seashells from Demolition Man, and as far as I'm concerned, I can't figure out the 3 seashells. I tried. I was on the can for 4 hours and 37 minutes trying to figure out how to use the 3 seashells. I bought 3 seashells from some novelty shop, and, I tried. I couldn't figure it out, and let's just say I had to dispose of the seashells. So I'm telling you right now that this, I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know what's going to happen, but damn it, I'm going to have this toilet roll for the next 13 years. That's how it's going to be. Watch people think I'm serious. People are going to be like, did you hear McRae's actually? Satire, folks. Just joking. Super chat comes in from David Lee Barron. Thank you, David. Says, don't you miss the days when movies had iconic scores where every track is essentially a character in and of itself? I do. Do you think we will ever get another iconic movie score? I do miss that stuff. I do. I do find that, and I think you still get it. Like there's some score, the Black Panther score was great. The Joker score, it won Best Score at the Academy Awards. The Joker score was fantastic. But I know what you're saying. It does seem like there's more of just music is in your average. Well, you know what? But it depends. I think you still get it to a degree in the big blockbusters. Because when we talk about scores that are characters in movies, they're usually the tentpole. You talk Back to the Future or, Indiana Jones or Star Wars and you still get that to a degree in some of the bigger blockbuster films. But I do know what you're saying. I get what it's a fair point. A lot of movie music today, per se, seems to bleed into each other, and there's nothing necessarily immediately identifiable about it. That you could play a soundtrack from, play the soundtrack from Spider-Man Far From Home, and unless it's unless there's some obvious theme that's really, you wouldn't know what movie it's from. It just sounds like triumphant action adventure music. And I do agree that we do seem to get that a lot, as opposed to the really defining, classic kind of scores. But movies have changed too. And a lot of the music, a lot of the scores that whether it's Back to the Future, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, they're classic story. Like their stories are classic storytelling, and they're very classic movies in and of themselves. In terms of the archetypes and the story, so they have this classic sort of adventure serial music. Do you know what I mean? That is very sort of what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word off the top of my head, but it's very indicative of the types of stories that are being told. Very sort of bombastic and yeah, just it's classic stories, classic adventure serials. You know, they always have that kind of classicness to them, even the 80s films. I think we need that kind of thing again. You know, yeah, I would totally be down for that. Like watching something like Ready Player One, which is probably the most recent example of a classic sort of adventure kind of movie, was great, but it used a lot of the 80s just music, which was great, which was awesome. But I don't recall the score necessarily being something that's immediately identifiable. Yeah, it's interesting. It's really interesting. I totally get what you're saying. I do. Super chat comes in from Bernard Cozy. Thank you very much, Bernard. Really appreciate that. Scream 5, a prequel, Bernard says. I'd love to see the Maureen storyline. The Maureen storyline. That's Billy's mom, right? Is it? Maybe I'm off. Her getting worn down from Hollywood, moving back to Woodsboro. Young Cindy and can avoid the social media wave that 5 will bring. Thoughts? Well, whatever they do with Scream 5, yeah, it's. I mean, you know, you've heard me say this a lot, and I don't know what else you do with Scream, because the identity of Scream is very shticky. It's based on a very specific magic trick. And once that magic trick is revealed, I found that Scream, look, I enjoyed part 2. And I thought part 4 was better than 3, but it's not like I didn't think part 4 was like amazing or anything like that. I think part 4 was enjoyable to watch more than 3 because of nostalgia. And that was like 4 or 5 years before the real nostalgia wave hit the entertainment industry. I mean, really, we have Stranger Things really kicked off the nostalgia wave in 2016, where you have all these shows coming back and movies and all that kind of stuff. And Scream 4 is 2011. So, but nostalgia exists whether there's a wave of it or not. And I think there was a certain level of nostalgia coolness to part 4. You know, oh, it's the first movie in 11 years. And, you know, it's Wes Craven and Neve Campbell's back and Courtney Cox is back and David Arquette is back. And, you know, it's kind of fun to watch. You know, you live vicariously through I remember, you know, and it's a decent movie. You know what I mean? I don't think it's as good as the first one, or maybe even the second one. But I do think it's better than the third one. But now we're nearly just as many years removed from that movie as we were with that movie from the third movie. And so much of the world has changed now. And I think that Tony said something on Two Dudes and Some Bullshit a couple of weeks ago, and he's absolutely right, that Scream will have to, of course they don't have to, I mean, this is speculation, but Scream likely will have to reboot Scream, to remake it. You'll likely have to reinvent what Scream is because of the era we live in now and what teenagers and college age kids are doing and using. They're not talking on their phones. They're not answering landlines. They're on social media and they're on specific types of social media. I mean, I can't even keep up with all the, like, Twitch. I had no idea what the fuck Twitch was until, like, I don't know, 2 months ago. You know, it's like, Dave, are you on Twitch? I'm like, what the fuck is Twitch? And then I found out it's more for, gamers or whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm not on Twitch. I'm 40. Why would I be on? Not that people who are 40 can't be on Twitch, but it's not indicative for what I'm doing. And then FaceTime, I found out, I remember that, of course, that's been around for a while. No, sorry. It was Snapchat. About 5 or 6 years ago, I did this voiceover gig for somebody here, and I had to read part of the script was talking about Snapchat, and I was like, what the fuck is Snapchat? And at that time it was fairly new, but I didn't know. Like, there's so many things now, so many avenues you can go to, that if you were to remake Scream, it would probably, you'd be reinventing and re-identifying what Scream is to a modern audience. Do you know what I mean? And whereas if you were to do a sequel, I don't know. I mean, or a prequel, like you said, a prequel. I think a prequel would be a tough sell. I think prequels are always a tough sell. But especially for something like Scream, I think would be a tough sell. Not for hardcore Scream heads, but I think it would be a tough sell to the general audience. I think they're likely to reboot it, just remake it, like they did with Child's Play. Or they do part 5. And if they do a part 5, that is the 5th chapter in this series, then I think they need to go into it with the intention that it's the last one. And I think somebody major has got to die. Either, David Arquette dies, or Courtney Cox dies, or dare I say Neve Campbell dies. Somebody. Because if it's just going to be sort of another version of Scream 4, you know what I mean? Like, obviously it's different. It's 10 years later. Maybe it's Sydney's cousin, or maybe somebody she didn't know about her family. But somewhere along the lines, the original gang comes back together. They're reeled back in, and Ghostface is back. And it's just kind of like, again, it just seems like, I don't know. I'm skeptical, but your prequel idea, kind of interesting, but I don't know if that's the best thing to do. I think you either reinvent what Scream is, which they tried to do with the television series. But like I said, I think Scream has a shelf life, and you hear me say that, but it's the shtick that has a shelf life. Once you know how the magic is done, it's kind of like, oh, like it's like Clue, like once you find out who the killer is, it's like, we're going to do this again, but now it's a different killer, and it's like, okay. And then we're going to do it again, but it's a different killer. And then we'll do it one more time, but it's a different killer. It's like, Jesus, it's like, it feels kind of, I don't know. It just kind of, like, the stories have to be really good. And Kevin Williamson is supposedly coming on to do this. And, I'm open. Like, I want movies to be good, but I am a highly skeptical person when it comes to horror sequels, especially reboots and remakes, because of the probability, because generally speaking, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So I'm always skeptical, and I always kind of have this kind of attitude towards it, but I'm always open to hearing it, because I want movies to be good. And if you can remake a movie and it's really good, why the fuck not? You know what I mean? Yeah, prequel though, with Maureen. Interesting, man. Interesting. I don't know if people would glom on to that. I don't know, but it's interesting. It is. Okay, super chat comes in from, where are we here? Billy Billy Van Vanry Merstal. I'm not saying that right. Vanry Merstal. Dave. Well, hey, you know what? We'll call you Billy Vanny. Hey, Dave, love your channel. What are your thoughts about Harley Quinn, especially Margot Robbie's performance? Well, to be fair, I actually have not seen the Harley Quinn movie, and I didn't see Suicide Squad either. Which is funny, because I was on the set of Suicide Squad when they shot here in Toronto. I had a buddy who was a PA on that set, and I was able to go down and go to a few areas where the general public couldn't go, because he was able to get me on set. Now, I didn't meet anybody, but I was down when they were shooting the, this was 2015, because the movie came out in 2016, right? So this is like May, June, something like that of 2015. And I remember it was when they were shooting the scene when Batman was on top of the Joker's car, and they were driving through Dundas Square and down Yonge Street, which is a major street in Toronto. Major street. Of course, it's all blocked. They have people out there and all that kind of stuff. I think they digitally removed everybody, though, which was really interesting. Because when you watch the movie, it's like, yeah, there were a lot of people watching this, and there's like nobody there, which is interesting. And of course, Bruce's company he works for, White's, obviously supplied the gear for that. So I was down there and I saw a lot of the White's trucks and all that kind of stuff. It was really cool. It was cool to be on the set. I was able to talk to one of the grips, and he was telling me all about sort of, what they were doing and setting up. It was great. I was down there with my camera. I took some photos, actually. I wonder if I have a couple of photos. Wait a minute. Do I, you know what? Am I going to be able to access this really quickly? Probably not. Let me just see here. I don't think I'll be able to access very quickly. It's probably, you know what? It's probably on my other drive is probably it. Because I have one drive plugged in that I don't think is it. It's probably on the other drive. Let me see if I can get that. Just one second. All right, let me see if I can plug this in to here. I know you guys can hear me. Don't worry. I'm still here, folks. Still here. Just trying to plug this drive in to see if I can find a couple of those photos, because it was really cool. It was really cool. Okay. There we go. Sorry, I just had to plug that drive in. Hopefully you're still with me. You haven't gone anywhere, have you? No, you haven't gone anywhere. Okay, good. Now I'm guessing it's on this drive, but maybe it's not. I have no idea. Let's find out here. Ooh, it's like a tera drive of space, and there's only like 3 gigs available. That's insane. Here we go. I bet you I'm gonna find it. Let me see. I thought for sure. Oh wait, Toronto, 5th Toronto. It might be under, it might also be under, let me see. I got all this stuff up here. Don't you hate when you have all this stuff on a drive and then you're trying to look for something last minute, you can't find it? It should be really accessible, because I keep those things really accessible, but for some reason, I can't seem to find it. That really sucks. That's too bad. Well, I had some photos that I took when I was on set, and I wanted to show you because it was really cool. But for some reason, can't seem to find them. That's Halloween. I thought for sure it would have been in this folder, but it's not in this folder. Hey, let's answer a couple of super chat questions while I mull over and think where the hell that could be. Let's see. Brandon Cozy says, thanks for the input. P.S. If you haven't seen Hell House, LLC, you might enjoy it. I haven't, and I will definitely check it out because of your recommendation. David Lee Barron says, couldn't the killer in Scream 5 be an identity thief person on social media? There's many real life stories of people being murdered by people they meet on. Oh, absolutely. Like, that's sort of what I was alluding to, right? Was where it's kind of like, and you hear me say this a lot, but there's some truth to it. And that is essentially that, we live in an era now where, when Scream came out in 1996, nobody was, nobody had cell phones. Cell phones existed, but nobody had cell phones, right? For all intents and purposes. And it was landlines. Well, that changed when you got into the early 2000s, and certainly changed by 2011. But now people are not even, how often do you talk on the phone? On your phone. I know you still might from time to time, but generally people don't talk on the phone anymore, and you certainly wouldn't pick it up. Most people don't pick up if they see unknown name and unknown number. So, you sort of have to reinvent, because the almost the catalyst sort of what drove Scream forward, the phone call, is not really a big thing anymore. It's people still talk on the phone. I just mean generally in that sort of environment with younger people. So you're right, things will have to change, evolve, and then it's which actually might work in its favor. It really might. It might be so different enough, but still the same principle, that you enjoy it for what it is. That it's actually, that was it's modernized, but it's perfect for this world. That I'm totally open to hearing that kind of thing. I'm actually, funny enough, I'm more interested in maybe a Scream reboot than a Scream 5 sequel that just is another sequel like we got. Like it'll essentially be like, I don't know, but again, it depends, right? You come at me with an amazing idea for Scream 5, bringing everybody back, and I might be like, okay, I got to fucking see that. I really want to see that. You know what I mean? Some great questions, man. Great questions. Great stuff. Mendel Goodman sends in a super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, will kills and ends be delayed because of COVID-19? Well, I've said this before. I said this on McRae Live as well. And I said it to a few of my patrons today. Halloween Kills, their theatrical release is not till October. The movie is done. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not still in post-production. They are. That doesn't mean they're not fine tweaking and tuning. They are. And in a lot of cases, offline editing can be done remotely. So there could be some editors that are fine-tuning things from home with a professional setup as well. Halloween Kills release date is okay at the moment. If we are still in the same state come July, August, then there might be a problem. I'm more worried about... I'm not going to say I'm more worried. What is more interesting to me is the likely delay of the production of Halloween Ends, because about a month or so ago, you guys probably saw it too, Jason Blum said that, and this is his words, not mine, although I am paraphrasing. He said that they plan to start shooting Halloween Ends in a couple of months or something like that. Well, that was like a month or so ago. So in a couple of months would take us to April. Well, if they were planning on shooting in April, if that really was a thing, that ain't happening. I mean, that's not going to happen. So, but the good news is that even if they don't shoot Halloween Ends in April, that shouldn't delay Halloween Ends, because you could, in theory, shoot Halloween Ends in January of next year and still make your 2021 October release date. I mean, they shot Halloween 2018 in January and made the release date. So I think both Halloween movies are okay at the moment, okay? Because Halloween Ends is far enough away that I don't even think it's an issue at the moment. Halloween Kills is far enough away that it's not an issue this second, but if this goes into May and June and July, yes, you could see them push it. Will Halloween Kills get released on streaming? I don't know. No studio wants to do that. No studio wants to do that because the money is in the box office. It's in the box office. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think as of right now, Kills is okay. Ends, I think, is fine at the moment. Whether they shoot next month or in May or not is a completely different thing. But I think we're okay at the moment. But keep an eye out as these days turn into weeks and weeks turn into a couple of months. Yeah, that's too bad. Where the fuck is that? Where are those pictures? That's so strange, man. I got all these folders here, and maybe it's not under that. Maybe it's under. Dun, 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 dun. So I got that, summer, that, Christmas party, Facebook, yeah, all that. No, nothing there. Oh, Kubrick. I guess that's when I went to the Kubrick exhibit. That was really cool. Mom's birthday, random pics. So funny. I think I would have labeled it something, but maybe not. Maybe if I go out of the folder, maybe it's in another folder. I don't know. Fuck, I don't know. Where the hell is that shit? I have no idea, but it doesn't seem to be popping up. That's too bad. Anyway, yeah, what was I saying? I was on the set of Suicide Squad in 2015, and I had some pictures. I took a bunch of photos when I was down there, and I was hoping to show you guys because it was really cool. But, oh well. You know what? I'll look for it when I have more time and I'm not taking up your guys' time just sitting here watching me look for a folder that apparently has escaped my my drive. And then on the next, if I think of it on another show, I'll be able to, show you guys. Cool stuff indeed. Grant F says, not to knock independent filmmakers like yourself, Mr. McRae, but I just watched the new film Halloween Night. Meh, it was okay, but I didn't like how they used Dr. Loomis. Well, that's okay, man. You're entitled not to like it. You're entitled not to like it, of course. You don't have to like it. Everybody has different access to different resources. Everybody has different access to different things. I think what JP DeStefano was able to do with Halloween Kills was great, but there were certain creative decisions that he made in that movie as well that I wouldn't have done. But I commend the effort. I mean, it's shot very well. The pacing is really good. The editing is very good. Love the use of the music. And there's some nice moments in that movie. And JP, who played the main guy, who played the son of Dr. Loomis, the grandson, excuse me. I loved his emotional choices as an actor. I didn't know he was so talented. He was very believable, very believable. But there's things in it as a creative myself where I was like, I don't know if I would have done the same thing there. I see what he's doing. I don't know if I would have done the same thing there. And there's no doubt that when It's Me, Billy is released, there will be people that will be like, I don't know if I would have done the same thing there. You know, that's just the nature of the game, right? When you are creating content, I mean, look, there are photos that Tony Michael takes but he always hopes people enjoy. But he knows his job is not to please everybody. You know, our job on Two Dudes and Some Bullshit is not to please everybody. My job here on this channel is not to please everybody. My job, our job, creative type's job, is to put out content, do the best we can with the things we are passionate about, put our vision out there. And if people love it, that's great. If they don't, that's okay too. That's okay too. You let the chips fall where they may. And that is whether you are a studio Hollywood film, whether you are an independent filmmaker like myself or Cecil and Vincent DeSante or JP or whoever, you know what I mean? And there's different levels of independent films as well. There's more amateur productions. There's more professional productions. There, you know, whatever it is, to people who are making amateur movies with their friends on their cell phones. Whatever it is, you put it out there and you let the chips fall where they may. Do you know what I mean? And that's our job, is to create a vision, and some people will like it and some people won't. The job is not to please everybody, because you can't please everybody. It's impossible to do so. It's impossible to do so. We just create content. We hope that people enjoy it, and we see what happens with it. But yeah, I thought Halloween Night was great. You know, I thought it was really good. I thought it was solid. It was really well done. Really well done, and my hat goes off to them. And there were some moments in there that I really liked. There's, again, moments I'm like, I don't know, but moments I really like too. You know what I mean? So really cool stuff. And yeah, again, speaking of fan films, 167 people watching. Yes, if you're just watching, of course, It's Me, Billy, the Black Christmas fan film that I am in development on with Bruce, my buddy Bruce. And again, this is a professional independent production we are in development on. So this is not like my little Halloween fan films I've done in the past. This is the next level. So you have to keep that in mind as well, that we are taking it to the next level, and we couldn't be more excited about it. And we were going to launch our Indiegogo campaign next month, but like I posted on my social, we are unable to do that because of everything that's going on with COVID-19 right now, and we thought it's better to kind of delay it, so potential donors like yourself who maybe want to help support it and get involved will be able to do so when, you know, you're not trying to save for fucking toilet paper, you know what I mean? So we thought that was the best thing to do. So it will not be launching in the month of April. Hopefully maybe in May, but we have to reassess what the entertainment landscape and the world landscape, of course, is at that time at the end of May. But we could not be more excited to be getting involved in this production. And again, here are the fine ladies of It's Me, Billy, who will be playing, we have Victoria Miro, who will be playing, who will be playing Sam, and then Shelby Handley, who will be playing her best friend, Emma, and Malika Henney, who will be playing their friend Justine. And the one on the far left, of course, Victoria Miro playing Sam, she's playing the granddaughter of Jess Bradford from the original Black Christmas. Let me bring up this picture too, because it's kind of cool. I posted this on social media today. I think you guys will find this cool. Where is it? It's right. Where are we here? Just got to find it. There it is. Right here. And let me just hang on a sec here. I got to make sure I move this over. Okay. Wait a minute. Oh, that's the right. Oh, there we go. That's what I want to do. And let me put that there. Okay. So this is a side-by-side comparison with our main actress, which is really, and she was like, all these women were great. They nailed the audition. The creative, emotional choices they made were fantastic. And I posted this to social media just earlier today because I thought, can you guys hear me? There we go. Now you can hear me. Now you can hear me. It's like, what was going on? Where's Dave? We lost him, folks. We lost him. We can't hear Dave. But now you can hear me. Yes, so Victoria Miro on the left, of course, and Olivia Hussey on the right as Jess Bradford. And Victoria's playing Sam, the granddaughter of Jess Bradford, and of course, she inevitably, like the synopsis says. Let me bring up the synopsis here because this is kind of cool. The synopsis, of course, says, unaware of the danger that's hunting her, Sam and her two best friends are spending Christmas Eve at her grandmother's old country mansion. Stalked by a sinister evil that's been lurking in the shadows for nearly 50 years, Sam is about to come face to face with her grandmother's chilling Christmas past, the deranged psychopath known only as Billy. So again, I mean, we're so thrilled to be moving towards delivering a Black Christmas fan film of this caliber. And of course, we've also I almost did it again. I got to get the audio in there. There we go. This is our director of photography who has signed on to be our DP on It's Me, Billy. And it says, Greg Bennett is an accomplished director of photography based out of Toronto, Canada. His work has been nominated twice for CSC, Canadian Society of Cinematographer Awards. His most recent narrative film work was for A Nighthawk, a feature film directed by Canadian filmmaker Don Shabib. Greg has shot numerous shorts, features, commercials, and music videos and is comfortable in a wide range of styles. Greg is excited to have joined the team, and we are absolutely thrilled to have him. And we could not be more thrilled to have somebody of Greg's caliber join our team as our DP. Myself and Bruce, of course, are we have written it. We're the writers, the directors, and the producers, of course, on this film, and Greg is on as our DP, and we could not be more thrilled. So we are really excited. I keep plugging that every so often throughout this show because, you know, there's a bit of a delay with the Indiegogo campaign, and I just want to keep you guys excited about this and let you guys know, oh, it's coming. Don't worry, this fucking COVID-19 shit is But don't worry, we are still working hard behind the scenes and making sure that we can launch this thing and get you guys on board and excited because we need your help, man. I mean, we're definitely going to need your help, you know, to make this a reality. And but we can't be more excited. I mean, it's just there's so many things that are happening. One of the coolest things, and I've had this experience a number of times in my life, but it never gets old. And the filmmakers in the chat room will be able to know what I'm talking about. At least if you're working at a certain level and you're actually holding professional auditions, you'll definitely know that it's so cool to see actors auditioning work that you've written. And because obviously we held open, well, it wasn't open. But we did put a casting call out, and we received, honest to goodness, about 400 submissions across 5 roles. And of course we couldn't, you know, see everybody, right? But it was so neat to be able to watch these actresses read the sides that we gave them. And sides are just a portion of a script. We gave them specific scenes and moments that we wanted to see. And it's so great to see them bringing what you've written to life. And sometimes when they do that, it actually gives you as a writer context, because you can look at that and go, yeah, you know what? I think I do need to change that line because it's not coming. Now that I'm seeing her say it, a professional's, it's not coming out right. And then sometimes you're like, oh yes, that totally hit exactly the way I was hoping. And sometimes a big part of that is the talent and the natural emotional instinct and creative choices that the actor makes when they are auditioning. And these three women were fantastic. And so I just want to let you guys know that we just cannot be more excited for this project. So thank you for indulging me as I plug this project every so often, because we're excited. Let me see here. I for I Studio says, speaking from experience, yes, Dave is correct. It's great to see people read the lines and also see people give it their all. 100%, man. 100%. And listen, if anybody is watching who auditioned for the roles that we sent out, and again, we were only auditioning. I really appreciate those of you who reached out to me asking if you could audition, but because of the level of production this is, we obviously were working with professionals. So but if anybody who auditioned is watching this right now, just know that the talent, everybody was great. Everybody was great, and sometimes it comes down to just subtle nuances. Sometimes it comes down to, and sometimes it's a feeling, and sometimes it's a multitude of things. Obviously, when we wanted to cast our Sam, we knew that she would be playing the granddaughter of Jess Bradford. And so we knew that an Olivia Hussey resemblance or essence was important. And there were some women that auditioned that didn't really look like Olivia Hussey, but were incredibly talented. And then you, as the producer and casting director, wearing sort of a hat of all trades here, you then look at that and you make a decision. Do we want to are they good enough that we want to shortlist them, even though they don't really have the look we're looking for? Damn, they're talented. And they can give the performance that we're looking for. And it's not like they don't look anything, but and then you make those types of decisions. We were just very fortunate enough that we were able to have somebody like Victoria submit an audition who happens to have a essence. She doesn't look identical to her, but she definitely has a essence. Let me bring her up again here. She definitely has that essence of a Olivia Hussey-ish type of look. Let me bring her up here. There, that's better. There we go. And that was important. Definitely was important for us. Let me just, because I'm on screen there. There we go. Let's do that. There we go. So that was definitely important, to kind of have, and it just so happens that she's also incredibly talented and experienced. So, but the talent that submitted for Emma, for Justine, the other actors that submitted for Sam, you were all great. You were all great. And it's so, it was inspiring. It was actually inspiring and it made me feel hopeful that there's so many talented young actors, coming up and who are already working in a variety of sort of, in the independent scene. It's just so awesome stuff. So, that was important, but we absolutely were open to hiring somebody who maybe didn't quite look like Olivia, but was amazing. Right? Because the performance was so important. We just lucked out that she also happens to have that resemblance. So pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff indeed. What do we got going on? Did I miss any super chats? Hey, super chat from Billy Joyner. Just supporting the channel, $1. Thank you so much, buddy. Really appreciate that. Okay, we'll take this thing to 2 hours. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go right to 2 hours. So that's about another 13 minutes. Let's take this thing to 2 hours, folks. Let's do it. Let's fucking do it. Fuck it. We'll do it live. Fuck it. We are doing it live. Holy snap and crap. Nick Townsend says, Dave, have you ever seen Death Wish with Charles Bronson? If not, you should check it out. Years ago. And there was quite a few sequels, I think. Haven't seen it in a long time. Yeah, it's really good. Didn't Kevin Bacon do a remake? I thought Kevin Bacon did. Wait, was Death? No. That wasn't the one directed by James Wan, was it? The Kevin Bacon, was that a different movie? That might have been a different movie. Maybe I'm thinking of a different movie. I might be thinking of a different movie. I probably am. Winter Rose 4444 says, there's a strong resemblance. It's very believable that she could be Olivia's character's granddaughter. I agree. I absolutely agree. And again, For those of you that might have missed it, of course, yeah. So Victoria on the left there, that is Sam. In the middle is Emma, and on the far right is Justine. And they are three best friends who spend Christmas Eve at Sam's grandmother's old country mansion. And then, of course, naturally, Billy, well, I'm not going to say what happens, but let's just say shit hits the fan a little bit. Let's just say shit hit. Oh, that death sentence. Thank you. Yes, because I think that was a James Wan film. Was it not? 2007? 8? 8 maybe? I think it was Wan. I stand to be corrected, but I think it was Wan. Let me just quickly jump back here, make sure I didn't miss any super chats. No. Okay, so the COVID-19. Okay, good. Yeah. Woo! That was my Michael Jackson for you right there. Hey! The Manhammer Error 15 says Kevin Bacon did Death Sentence directed by James Wan. Yes. Okay. Thanks, guys. You rock. 2007. So I was right. I was in the ballpark of the year. I was definitely right. Right, Bruce Willis. That's right. Bruce Willis is like the new Nicolas Cage. He's in all these B movies. Not that was a B movie, but he's fucking phoning it in now. I guess maybe maybe Nicolas Cage and Bruce Willis are behind on their taxes or something, and they gotta pay the tax man, and they're just fucking taking everything and anything. I don't know. It's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff, folks. Crazy stuff. Let's see. Good to see Tony Michael still in the chat. Tony Michael, how you doing, my man, Tony? Getting excited for our Halloween 5, the Revenge of Michael Myers show this Monday. Tune in, folks, 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, episode 62 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. Tony and I we watch Halloween 5 this Monday night. Fuck. Gonna be funny. Keith McCain. Hey, I don't think I've ever seen Keith McCain in here before. Says, hi, Dave, watching from Belfast, Northern Ireland. Awesome. Love your shows. My 6-year-old daughter thinks you look like Liverpool FC manager. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Oh, God, here we go. Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp. Am I saying that right? Jurgen Klopp? What a name. Let me just copy that and type in Jurgen Klopp. Let's hope he looks better than the name sounds. All right, Jurgen Klopp. Interesting. Well, he's okay, all right, maybe. I don't see it personally. Looks like he's got dentures. His teeth are so straight and white. Wow. Interesting. He wears a hat a lot. Interesting. You know what's funny about when people say that I look like this person or I look like that person? It's so funny because I don't think I look like anybody that I've like. There are people. Wait, we're back. A little bit of a hiccup there. But we're back, folks. We're back. Stay calm. Everybody stay calm. We're back. Holy fuck. What's interesting is I've been told I look like Bill Burr. I've been told I look like Eminem. I've been told I look like, well, now Klopp. I've been told I look, and none of them look like each other. I've been told I look like Chris Hardwick. Chad, is it that? Chris Hardwick? I've been told, like, there's so many people. And what I find is that when I look at these people, I don't look like any of them. But there's little things about them that people are sort of honing in on, like maybe, and I don't know this, but maybe it's like, oh no, I don't look like Chad Hart. It's his jaw, you know, or maybe, oh no, it's his eyes, or maybe it's, oh, I see what it is. It's his this, or it's his that, or, you know, I've yet to see somebody point to somebody where it's like, oh my God, no, he actually does look like that person. There's certain things people tend to hone in on. They seem to kind of pick up on. So it's fascinating to see what people think, but certainly if I don't look anything like Eminem. I mean, I think that's really funny. Eminem. I wish I could rap like him. Wayne Downey says, I've been told I look like George Costanza. Jerry. That's funny. George Costanza. So consider yourself lucky. Hey, George Costanza is cool, man. I mean, I get what you're saying, but, you know, come on. Hey. Marissa Tomei liked him. She likes short, fat, stocky, bald men. So, I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know what you look like, but I'm just saying. Marissa Tomei, Marissa Tomei was pretty cute back in the day. She's still very attractive, actually. That's so funny. The Movie Fanatic says, did you know that in the original Halloween, there was a total of 3 Michael Myers masks? 2 were stunt masks that Tony Moran and Jim Wilborn wore, and Nick Casso wore the hero mask. Yes, I do. And you can see those masks actually in a after party worn by John Carpenter and Nick Casso, where they're playing, they're playing music. You can totally see that. Yes, I did know that. Yeah. Great bit of trivia right there, folks. Let me see here. Jim Thake says, hi, Dave. Keep up the awesome work. Thank you very much, Jim. Halloween question. When Michael is following the girls in the car, okay, he pulls over before they stop at the hardware store. How would he know this must be a goof? Oh, he pulls over. Well, okay. There's 2 ways to think about this, right? There's thinking about it deeply, literally, like within the confines of the continuity, which can be problematic because sometimes things are not intended to be what we think they are. If you want to take it from that perspective, though, I'll give you some things to think about. Well, he heard the alarm from the distance. He knew that he was there earlier because he was picking up a mask, a couple of knives, and some rope, right? And he could see the cop cars there. So maybe he wasn't pulling over to necessarily wait for them. He was pulling over because he didn't want to be seen by the police, by the authorities there. So he was pulling over, and then as luck would have it, the girls pulled over and sort of bought him some time to kind of think, maybe not think literally, because again, he's not like, making conscious decisions, but sort of just buy him some time. And then the girls go off and if you want to think of it that way. But really we're not meant to be thinking it that literally. But a goof, I don't see it as a goof, really. I really don't. Because it's impossible to know. It's not really a goof because it's impossible to know what Michael is thinking. It's impossible to know because there is no conscience, no understanding, even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, good or evil, right or wrong, right? So a lot of in the first Halloween now, a lot of the decisions that are being made are very instinctual and sort of predatory, force of nature type of thing. So, I mean, I'll have to watch that scene again. It's never bothered me, but I'll have to watch that scene again and see. Goof, though? Maybe. I mean, if you want to think of it as a goof, maybe, but I don't think it's really that serious, really, at the end of the day. But interesting, very interesting. Yeah, I've never got that before. I've never got somebody pointing that out. I thinking about it, like thinking back on it, you are right. Like thinking about the scene, he does pull over and then the girls kind of pull up. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, you're right. But I guess I've never thought about it that deeply. You guys are like meta, man. You guys are like fucking, neck deep into this shit. Okay. Couple more minutes here. Let's see here. David Ferguson says Michael killing Lester the dog was his most horrific act. I agree. Oh my God, Lester. God, that poor dog. And the dog, I mean, whose dog was it that he ate in the Myers house? I mean, whose dog was it there? I mean, I don't know. Jerry. It's crazy stuff. I have no idea. Let's see. Jacob Whiteley says, I hope Michael doesn't drive any more cars. I wouldn't mind seeing him drive a car if it's done right. If it's executed right. I get what you're saying, though. Zach Axiola says, at Dave McRae, as a Star Wars fan, would you be interested in checking out the series Star Wars The Clone Wars? It's not, I never say never, but I'm not big in going from live action to cartoon. I would much rather see a live act, and I really don't care about the Clone Wars really, but I would much rather see a Clone Wars movie. And we got one, essentially, Attack of the Clones, but it wasn't, there was so much else going on at that moment that, like I would rather see the cartoon as a movie version. it's hard for me to go watch cartoons that come from live action. The other way around seems, I don't know, funky and fun. But you never say never. You never say never, man. I haven't yet. My buddy Bruce really liked it a lot. And I know a lot of Star Wars fans did and do. I do know that. So you never say never. K316 says, hey, Dave, have you ever watched the Warriors movie that came out in 1979? No, I haven't, but I do know the movie you're talking about. I have not seen that. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any super chats. I did not. Okay, that's good. So just a couple more minutes now, folks. Couple more minutes. Let's see here. Mark Johnson says he has a tail in Shallow Hal. Oh, I love Shallow Hal. Shallow Hal is one of my favorite Jack Black comedies. I'm not kidding. I love that movie. There's something about that movie I really like. I really like that movie a lot. It's just funny. Of course, you know, there's a lot of things in that movie now that you probably couldn't do because of the time we live in now, and people will be offended, but damn, it was funny. One of my favorites for sure. It's a guilty pleasure. And it's not a guilt. Well, I guess no. I shouldn't even say it's a guilty pleasure because it's not like it's a bad movie. I mean, it's not an amazing movie, but I mean, it's not like it's like, oh my God. Just one of those ones I really like. Eric, thank you for the super chat, buddies. Eric, am I going to say that right? Eric Vathalar92? Vathalar92? Hopefully I'm saying that right. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. Says, thoughts on flat earthers. Thoughts on flat earthers. Well, listen, there are many conspiracy theories in the world that I find interesting, that I think actually, because there's objective evidence to support it, that are, well, interesting. If you know what I'm talking about. But the flat earth thing, no. I think it's hey, listen, as long as they're not trying to change the objective measurable, science, in terms of, get into the textbooks to teach children, you want to have your little conferences and, and rah, and, and here's our circumstantial, evidence, and because I went out with a compass and a this and a that, and I did this, and here's my charts and graphs, and knock yourself out. But the evidence is pretty clear. Objective evidence is very clear that the earth is round. So, fascinating nonetheless. All right, folks, that's going to do it for me here on this Impromptu Live AMA. Hey, listen, I want to thank each and every one of you that sent in super chats. Really appreciate it, guys. It keeps this channel going and keeps these live AMAs and my shows and all that kind of stuff going, because everything that I make from the channel goes right back into the channel for your viewing experience and the shows and all that kind of stuff. So I really do appreciate it. And of course, all the wait, another one just came in here. Anthony Bazzuto, hey Dave, just supporting the channel, be good pal. Thank you so much, Anthony Bazzuto. You rock, buddy. Really appreciate that. And all the questions, of course, whether they're super chats or not, I appreciate. Obviously, super chats take priority for obvious reasons, but I try to get to as many as non-super chats as I can. But if I didn't get to yours, it's never personal. Just know that there will always be another opportunity, because I do these types of things many times a week now, which is great. And the super chats are allowing that to happen. And of course, I do most of my work from home anyway, in my home studio here. Most of my voiceover work is done from home, whether I'm doing national commercials or promos or trailers or whatever it is, I can do them from my home studio. So being quarantined here, I feel a little bit of it, but I do most of my work from home anyway, so it just kind of feels like a regular day to a degree. But yes, I will be back probably, look, there's always an opportunity if something tickles my fancy, as they say, or some big news drops that I want to talk about. There's always that opportunity that I might do a standalone video at any given moment, at any given time. But if you don't hear from me between now and Monday, I'll be back Monday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for episode 62 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit, where Tony Michael and I are watching Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. You fucking know you're going to tune in. You know you're going to tune in, and you know you're going to love it, because you just want to see Tony and I tear that thing apart. But yeah, and of course, hey, if you're on Facebook and you want to follow It's Me, Bill Billy on Facebook. We'd really appreciate it if you guys would. Again, you don't have to, right? I mean, maybe you are, you already follow me and you're like, I don't want to follow all these pages. That's okay too, but I'm putting it in the comment section just in case you guys want to. There is the link there. That's the official Facebook page for It's Me, Billy. And of course, we appreciate the likes and support. Try and get those likes and support up to try and create the buzz. We need the buzz for this thing. So yeah, sincerely though, you guys are amazing. I really mean that. Honestly, you guys are amazing. We've built this little community here that I think is just awesome. And remember, we don't always have to agree. We're never going to agree 100% of the time, but as long as we respect each other and we have good debates and conversation, and you guys are talking amongst each other. That's the coolest part about this, folks, is you guys are talking amongst each other and debating and sharing ideas. And I just love to see that. I really do. So yeah, I will be back Monday night, 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great rest of your weekend. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Remember toilet paper. Ration it. Just use this much right here. I don't know. Figure it out. Figure it out. Figure it out. And I'll talk to you guys soon. All righty. Cheers.